They said it wouldn't last, and they said that you can't drive profitable and incremental revenue through the affiliate channel. But here we are, 20 years later, and the affiliate channel is alive and kicking and generating profitable revenue for thousands of retailers across the globe. Hi, I am Jamie Birch, your host of the Profitable Performance Marketing Podcast, where we talk to some of the industry's best and brightest about their careers, about leadership, and about how to drive profitable revenue through the affiliate channel. Hi, this is Jamie Birch, CEO and founder of JEBCommerce. Thank you for joining our podcast today. We have a special guest. This is number 2 in our travel series. We are talking today to Nicole Lewis. But before I introduce her and everything that's going on, want to let you know, if you need help with your affiliate program, we can help you with that. We've created a product for you that is all about strategy development. We do a full audit of your affiliate program, and we create a strategy that encompasses every aspect of your affiliate program, including a gap analysis on affiliates, introductions to those affiliates, audit and recommendations on your commission structure, and how do you drive incremental sales right now, as well as review of your network setup, and are you on the right network and the right distribution of partners, and all sorts of things. You can go to jebcommerce.com/strategy and get more information on that product. So today I talk with the creator behind wanderingwithadromomaniac.com. And we definitely talk about what a Dromomaniac is. And Nicole Lewis is the creator of this blog. She is a full-time wildlife veterinarian, as well as a emerging travel blogger. She focuses on the adventure travel space. And we talk about all things travel, all things travel blogging. And we really dive into, if you're an advertiser in the travel space, you definitely want to stick around for the last 15 minutes. And we talk about the best ways to work with her specifically. We talk about the do's and don'ts, but we talk about alignment and values and how to be successful. So definitely take a listen to this podcast episode. So why don't we just jump right in my conversation with Nicole Lewis. All right, Nicole, welcome to the Profitable Performance Marketing Podcast. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You have had, it seems, an exciting week as 2020 continues to deliver with a hurricane where you live right now.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people were without power. I was one of the lucky ones that still had power.
Wow. Well, I hope everything is okay and things are going well. Nicole, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. My name's Nicole Lewis. I am a part-time adventure travel blogger. I've been running Wandering with a Dromomaniac now for 3 years. And I'm also a full-time wildlife veterinarian, so that's why the part-time. But I enjoy doing both, so I continue to do both.
That's awesome. Now, what is the difference between a veterinarian and a wildlife veterinarian?
So my current position, I only work with wildlife. I mostly do autopsies on wildlife. I work for the state Fish and Wildlife Agency. So I find out why animals were sick or why they died to help protect the populations. So I don't really treat anybody. I don't see small animal pets anymore. I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore.
Wow, my daughter, I think we discussed a little bit on our prep call. My daughter wants to be a vet. She wants to be a large animal, specifically for horses.
Mm-hmm.
And we've started to kind of expose her to what that education path looks like. And it's a long and detailed path.
Yeah, you're telling me. I think I was in school for 10 years total. Yeah.
I've also been told it's as competitive, if not more, to get into a vet school than a regular medical school.
Yeah, it depends too on where you go to school. I'm originally from Canada, so I went to school in Canada, but I have talked to other veterinarians in the States here. But it took me several tries to get in. You just can't give up. It's nothing against who you are. If you really want it, you just have to keep trying because that's how it goes in this profession.
Yeah, that is the advice that we seem to be getting now. We took my daughter to, and she's 13, so we took her to the college
Mhm.
here in the state of Idaho, and they gave her a tour. They were really so accommodating, to someone so far from making that decision. But he did make one comment that I wanted to kind of see what you thought about that. He was clear with us and my daughter that to really make sure you want to do this, because a lot of women who get into this, they end up not actually practicing, and it was a little unnerving to hear him say that, but it seemed he said it was pretty true. What do you is that actually what happens? Should she just go for it,
I I find that a little surprising myself. I've been a practicing veterinarian now for 7 years. And when you go through vet school, you put in a lot of time and a lot of money. Um, I know some American vets come out 300 to $400,000 worth of debt. That's not
Wow.
something you just walk away from.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so it's an expensive endeavor. And one that if you're really passionate about, you don't tend to leave. I think that most veterinarians that leave um, that profession in general, it's the other side of it, the stress, the burnout, the compassion fatigue,
Mm.
because that's a real issue in our profession, and it's not talked about enough, I don't think. We do have one of the highest suicide rates of any profession, so it's that finding what gives you a good quality of life and you can still enjoy your profession um, through the entirety of your career, really.
What did you say, the highest suicide rate?
Yes.
That's blown me away. Why is that? I'm totally at a loss for words.
Yeah, and not a lot of people know that. It's a lot of it for us is compassion fatigue, burnout. A lot of veterinarians work extremely long hours. You have to put animals to sleep on the regular. I
Mm,
know when I was in private practice, I had one day I put 7 animals to sleep back to back, and it really takes a toll on your mental health. Um, but that being said, I love my job and I love what I do now.
yeah.
And I wouldn't change that. It's all about finding what works for you, having good mentors, and having a good support system. A lot of us now have a Facebook group we're all a part of, all across Canada and the US, and it's called Not One More Vet, to help support one another so that this doesn't keep happening.
Wow. We are an animal family. We have 12 horses on our property,
Oh, wow.
3 dogs. At one time, we had 18 chickens, a pig, 2 guinea pigs, birds, and a lizard. And we
Wow.
had we had more. Yeah, I think 38 total animals. And we recently lost a dog, and like many families have to put those down. And I never, in that moment, you're grieving. You never
Mhm.
even think about the impact this has on the people doing the work. So eye opening. That sounds horrible. I heard that about dentists are also have a
Mhm.
high suicide rate too. And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily enjoy going to the dentist, but when I heard that, I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to be their best appointment all day. I'm going to try to make them laugh the entire time as best I can. Uh,
That's
if I can
great.
have a little bit of impact, but I never thought that
Yeah.
vets go through something similar. That's alarming.
It is, but, there's a lot of now I think the word is starting to get out there, and we're trying to educate people and help them realize, we're people too. We really feel a lot of this When you bring your pets to us, we care. It's in our nature. That's the type of person we are. That's why we went in this profession. We care. We really do, and we want to do everything we can. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way, and we take it hard.
Oh, well, what is the most fulfilling part of now this category, this niche of veterinary medicine that you're practicing wildlife stuff? What's the fulfilling part about that?
I always wanted to be a wildlife vet. I always wanted to do exactly what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
Mainly, yeah, mainly because
I'm so
I
jealous. I still have no idea what I want to do. I'm 45.
well, I'm also a blogger on the side. So what does that tell you?
You're passionate
Um,
about at least two things. I know that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, I get the opportunity to do research on endangered species and try to leave the world a little better than how I found it, and work with these species to try to protect them. And that brings me joy every day.
That is awesome. So let's go to your other passion. What
Mhm.
is a dromomaniac?
I get that question a lot. I'm sure you can imagine.
And did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, you did. And a lot of people think that it has to do with camels, but it doesn't. It it is
That could
somebody
be an
who
interesting blog as well.
it could. You're right. Maybe later down the road, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it actually means somebody who has an addiction to wandering. So I am a
Awesome.
dromomaniac. Yes.
And so your website is Wandering with a Dromomaniac.
Hmm.
And how did this come about? How did you become a travel blogger? From a wildlife vet to a travel blogger. How did all that happen?
Well, I've always been really interested in the two aspects of it. Travel, of course. I love to hike. I love to see new places, experience new cultures, but I also really love to write. And I was looking for a way that I could share my stories. I'm also trying my hand at writing novels as well, but
Oh
gives
wow.
me a great way to express myself and use my writing to inspire others and encourage people to get out there and just experience something different than what's in their backyard. So that's kind of, I originally thought maybe I would publish in uh, magazines, but when I was doing some research on the whole thing, I came across blogging, and that it was definitely something that's a possibility that you could kind of even create a career from. So I, tried my hand at it. It's been 3 years now. I still like it, and it's growing slowly. So it's been a fun journey.
Awesome. So you started 3 years ago, and
Hmm.
what was the first blog post?
It was on Grotto in Italy. It's kind of considered a Italian vacation spot, and it was the first place I went to overseas.
Oh,
It
the
was
very first place?
the very first place I went to overseas. Yeah.
Wow. So were you a regular traveler before your website and you started blogging?
I was. So I went to Italy several years ago. So a lot of the things I wrote about at first were travel experiences I had had, in the past, I don't
Mm.
know, say 5 to 10 years. So I started there and tried to kind of evolve my niche and just add experiences from then on. So I had been in to Italy. I think it's been probably 10 years now.
Oh
That was
wow,
the
wow.
first, though. That was my first big travel experience, though, aside from, being Canadian and traveling to the Caribbean in the wintertime.
Yeah, yeah. And who doesn't like to do that?
Right.
Actually, I know one individual, my brother-in-law, does not like to do that. I still don't
Huh,
understand.
no.
Uh, it's not for everyone, apparently. So, what was like the big on that first big trip? And my family and I, we had our first overseas trip, not this past April, but the April of 2019, and we went to London and Edinburgh, Scotland. And that was the first like out of country, took a whole lot more planning and learned a ton about travel, a ton about ourselves. What was the
Mhm.
biggest like discovery for you on that first trip so far away?
It was there was a lot of things about it that were pretty eye-opening for me in general. I went with my significant other. He happened to be going for a conference and I tagged along for 10 days.
Nice.
But yeah, but it was, my first experience with jet lag. We were actually sleeping and the cleaning lady came to the door and she didn't speak any English and she was saying something about polizia and camera and we had no idea what she was saying and we were very jet lagged. It was very confusing, but she just wanted to clean the room. So that experience of jet lag, that experience of not being able to speak the language, and trying to communicate in a different way with hand gestures or whatever you need to do to get your point across, and
Yeah.
seeing a whole different way of life, it just changed my perspective completely.
That's awesome. Where'd the travel bug come from?
I don't know. None no one in my family is a big traveler. I'm pretty much the only one that can't seem to sit still. Um, I I once I started, I can't stop. I wanna see everything. I have a huge list. I have a scratch off map. I have so many places I want to see now that I've got going.
What's on the top of the list, or the one that's the hardest to reach and accomplish?
Mm, probably any of the through hikes. Um, the Appalachian Trail, the
Oh, okay.
Command Kudu, hiking the 7 summits is on my list. So I any of the longer hikes that take more time are gonna be a challenge for me to complete because, well, I work all full time. So I can't
Oh,
just
yeah,
take,
yeah.
4 or 5 months off at a time and go hike the Appalachian Trail.
And I've hiked all of Pennsylvania
Oh,
and
nice.
almost all of the Appalachian Trail from Pennsylvania to Maine. A good portion of that, my cousin hiked the entire thing not too long ago. So definitely can see the draw. The Pacific Coast Trail is also a pretty good one over on my
Mhm,
side of the country.
mhm.
So your niche is adventure travel. So
Yes.
I wouldn't see you necessarily in a tour or I mean, explain the difference and really, because you talked about, as your niche evolved. Tell me more about your niche and that journey of, making it, more focused.
Yeah, I think I kind of started out, just dipping my toe in the water, so to speak, just trying to become a better writer, and I just talked about different cities I had visited, and I love the history and I love the cities, but for me, I'm very into hiking, any snorkeling. I'm hoping to get scuba certified. That got kind of kiboshed with the COVID
Hmm.
issue.
That sure
uh,
opens a lot of adventure stuff to do too.
it does, and so whitewater rafting, anything that involves getting into nature, being with wildlife. I feel like as a veterinarian, as a wildlife veterinarian, I can really speak to the wildlife in different places. And then how cultures interact with that at that interface, the environment, nature, wildlife, and the cultures. Because there's a lot of good things going on, and then there's a lot of not so good things going on. And I try to portray that in my writing.
That's fantastic. Now, I'm sensing a thread of discovery in both your professions. You know, does that resonate with you? Discovery of, as you're researching and autopsying, and doing things with endangered species. And it seems to me that that's a common thread in both of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. That kind of hit the nail on the head, I think.
Well, that's awesome. So what's been the most successful thing you've done with your travel blog, wandering with a dromomaniac.com?
I I I feel pretty successful just to have put it together. uh, learning how to create a website is not something I know how to do, but I taught myself. I took the time, but um, I think having the opportunity to work with another company has really made me feel like I've come a long way, I guess, with the blog. Actually having a company want to work with me and take their trip. And you said, not usually, I don't usually work with a tour, but it really just depends on the situation. Sometimes
Mhm.
you need that, depending on what you're doing. My trip next summer, I'm climbing Mount Elbrus in Russia, and that is a trip with a tour because it
Wow,
has
I've never heard of that. Tell
to.
me about this trip. I'm so excited.
It is with an all women's travel company called WHOA. Um, and they they do a lot of different adventure tours. They climb Kilimanjaro, they do the Kamanikudu in Japan, they go to
Wow.
Patagonia. And this Mount Elbrus is one of the seven summits, one of the seven highest mountains in the world. It happens to be Europe's highest mountain. So I'm starting my seven summit journey there next summer.
Is that considered hiking or mountain climbing?
Um,
Is that on par with like an Everest or a K2 or stuff like that?
it Everest is one of the seven summits, pardon
Yeah.
me. Um, it's around 18,000 feet, I believe. Don't I wouldn't quote me on that. I'm close though. Um, but it is a trek and a hike. You do have to wear like the crampons on your boots, and they give you like special boots to wear and stuff. So it's not a walk in the park. It's definitely going to be a challenge, and they tell me that the boots weigh 3 pounds and that you need to prepare for that. So it's one of the harder of the seven, I guess you could say.
Do you blog and produce content preparing for something like that too?
I do, yes. So I've done a couple of posts. I climbed Mount Katahdin, which is the end of the Appalachian Trail, and I've done a couple of posts on how to prepare for it, what you should bring, that sort of thing. And then I did a recent hike through the Presidential Traverse in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and I wrote how to prepare and what to bring and that sort of stuff, and how to stay safe on the trail as well. So, because I did that by myself.
Oh wow. Well, I can't wait to read about this next adventure. And is that kind of how far in advance you're planning with, because so much is going on with travel right now, and most of the world seems to be closed to Americans
Yeah.
traveling. It
hmm
is, is that how far you have to plan for travel to be open again?
I This opportunity kind of came up. I get their newsletter, this company, and they said that they're accepting applications for next summer. So I actually went through a whole interview process for this. And I figured maybe a year from now, we may be able to travel again and that maybe I was safe. Um,
Please, we hope so.
please, please. Um, I did have a trip planned in October that I am no longer going on. So a bit bummed there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just going with the science. I'm gonna wait until it's safe. I'm not gonna just go out there all cowboy and cowgirl and just
Yeah.
take the risk. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, to our listeners, please wear your mask, social
Yes,
distance.
yes,
Nicole and I would like to travel again
yes,
someday
yes.
soon. We canceled two trips. We were going to Costa
Oh,
Rica, and then we're planning an
lovely.
Israel trip.
Oh.
And then my wife desperately wants me to take her back to London and Scotland,
Mm,
and that was all canceled. So we're also, listening to the science, doing the things, doing our part,
mhm,
so we can
mhm.
travel again. And that's what we're seeing too with our travel clients. They're really looking that far ahead. Um,
Yeah.
I think all hope that things will come back to normal in the fall is kind of faded, and we're all
Mhm,
kind of planning for that. Um, so how did you, when you created your blog 3 years ago, was it you stated it was a way to express yourself and to
mhm,
write something you love to do?
mhm.
Did you have thoughts of monetizing it from the beginning, and finding ways to use it to generate revenue, or was that kind of after things got rolled? How did that happen?
I Right from the beginning, I was hoping I could monetize it. I read a really good blog post before I started, and it was by Never Ending Footsteps. And she kind of did a whole post on how to start a blog, what you should think about, a hosting company to use, what affiliate marketing you should do, and that sort of thing. So I was kind of thinking about it in the beginning, and then I took a few online courses on blogging through Nomadic Matt, and Tim Leffel has a course. So I did both of those, and they talk a lot about affiliate marketing. And I look at it as not just an expression of myself, but also as a business. So I'm learning and growing on that side as well. And we'll see where it goes.
That's awesome. And what do you find successful in terms of advertising on your site? What has been, has it been just a one-time campaign that worked? Has it been product placement? Has it been reviews or AdWords, or what have you found success with?
Well, I'm still working on that. I probably haven't been as good about it as I could be. I've done a few posts for around Christmas time, gifts for adventure travelers,
Hmm.
um, some gear posts, that sort of thing. I've had uh, a few people reach out for a sponsored post here and there, and it really has to be in line with my niche and my values. But and I have to kind of vet the program, I guess, or their company before I accept that, just because I want my audience to get what they expect to be getting. So I'm still working on some of adding that in, hoping to add in a few more kind of in post texts that link to different products. So it's still a kind of an evolving process. And I admit I've been kind of slow with getting it really in there and getting really good at it. But I try to add them here and there, and put in some of the banners and things in different posts. That tends to be how I've been handling it at this point.
Gotcha. The advice I always give is concentrate on your audience and your content, and the
Hmm.
monetization will always come through, and opportunities will come through. And as your blog grows and your audience grows, then people will come to you with ideas on how you can make that work. So a lot of times that work can be done for you. So what do you know a lot about your audience? Do you do things specifically, for them? Is there any, what kind of audience focus have you, if any, have you looked at so far?
I kind of have what I guess my vision of what my audience could be, and I think of them as late 20s to 40 or 50, people with careers like myself who are looking to get outside and push themselves and challenge themselves. I do look through like Google Analytics and some of the other programs to try to get a better feel of actually who is using my content. It was a little surprising recently. I looked and it seemed like it was more male based than female, which I wouldn't have
Oh,
expected.
wow.
I was kind of surprised by that. I talk about in my post on the presidential traverse and hiking that by myself as a woman for 2 days, and how much of a challenge that was. I'm surprised that that was my audience, but it's good to know those things so you can plan your content accordingly. So I'm trying to look at that a little bit more closely, and I know what countries look at it the most, and that
Hmm.
sort of
Yeah.
thing. So I do follow that.
That is super interesting. We had a client and they sold t-shirts, and I'm sure you've seen them. A lot of them have wolves on it, and a lot of hipsters now wear them because they are sometimes so fashion not forward that they wear it ironically and
Mm-hmm.
with humorously. And so that's who we were marketing and they were marketing to for a really long time. And then when we were able to really dive deep into the analytics, that was not who was buying the product. It was a much older demographic that
Huh.
was not wearing them ironically. They loved these t-shirts. And so we shifted our marketing completely, and their entire company's marketing completely, and saw a tremendous growth because they started to focus on 60 and older instead of 25 and younger.
Uh-huh.
And it made a dramatic change, and no one would have thought these shirts were worn without, a sense of humor with it,
Hmm.
but they just really loved it. So yeah, the analytics can really really make a difference. Um, are you doing anything now? As I talk to travel advertisers and travel affiliates, we are, we're recording this in August. I can't believe it's August already
I
of
know.
2020. We for our listeners, we're smack dab into the pandemic. Travel is not a luxury, we really get to participate in right now. Is there anything you're doing to keep your users engaged with your blog? Is you know trying to keep them, keep that audience building and growing? Is there anything you've tried uh, specifically in that area?
I I honestly think I've been very lucky in this time, because I write so much about hiking and nature and national parks and things like that. That's what people are doing right now. So
Those
I've
are
had
open.
they're open, and people can explore local trails. So I've been very lucky, I feel, in the sense that I've had a lot of people visiting the blog lately, and I think it's because people are so hungry to get outside and that they're taking advantage of some of these things. So I've really tried to target my writing to different trails. I have a post coming out tomorrow that is a collaborative with other bloggers, the best day hikes in Canada. And then next week will be one for the US. So
Fantastic.
I've been very lucky, during this extremely unfortunate time that my writing has struck a chord because so many people just want to get outside right now.
Yeah, and you may not be able to go to another country, but you can go
Right.
on another hike and write that
Right.
content. And all of us, that's those things are still, for the most part. I know there's some areas those things are closed,
Hmm.
but for the most part, we're still able to do that. My kids, like I said, we have a lot of animals. We do a lot of horse things, and
Hmm.
so while we can't compete in a lot of the things we competed in, we still are able to do all of that because you're able to social distance. It doesn't require a venue and things like that. So that's awesome. So you continue to write and push stuff out
Hmm.
uh on sort of with normality, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm trying. Obviously, I'm not really going anywhere right now. And it's been extremely hot here in New Jersey the past couple weeks. So we really haven't been able to hike either. So we're hoping to
Yeah.
get back out. New York's open to us. New Hampshire's pretty close. Vermont. So there's lots of hiking opportunities, and I already have some planned, hopefully in the coming weeks to get out and do some hiking. That's going to be things that become posts in the future. So it's been good for me during this time. I feel very lucky.
Yeah, yeah, very fortunate. It's a good niche to have. Um, what are the best ways that an advertiser can work with you? What are the best practices that they need to adhere to for you?
I tend to, when I get requests through Commission Junction or Avantlink, I'm not really sure how they say that, but
I think it's Avant. Yeah, I think you have it
Avant.
right.
Oh, woo. um, I try to see one, or if they're just emailing me, out of the blue or through LinkedIn or whatever. Um, are they a company that is an outdoor company? Do they work with different trail groups, or are they sustainable? For me, sustainability and ethical products are really important to me. I try to be zero waste as much as I can and leave no trace as much as I can, and travel ethically as much as I can. So those companies that are doing things like that, I really try to work with, and promote. You know, don't like the fast fashion, but I love Ten Tree, who they plant 10 trees for every item of clothing you buy, and their clothing is recyclable. They make it from hemp and plastic bottles and things like that. So those are the companies
Gotcha.
that I really like to work with and promote, those making a difference and trying to find better solutions.
Gotcha. And I just interviewed someone else, and that the discussion was corporate morality, and there's been
Mhm.
a heavier focus on that as well as making sure as consumers, and just not making sure, but consumers are voting with their dollars, and they are looking to corporations that align with their values and
Mhm.
making their purchases there. So that's one of the things you look at. So a heavy polluter, someone that a company that sustainability is not a value, they're going to have trouble working with you then.
Yeah, yeah. It's just not who I am, it's not what I value. So it has to align with my values and what I want to bring to my audience, really.
And outside of sustainability and then category, outdoor gear
Yeah.
category, is there
Mhm.
any other things that an advertiser, you know, that you look at when selecting an advertiser to work with? Sorry.
I think that when it comes to adventure travel, these companies that are in that space and can give anybody the opportunity to experience something different, experience nature, push themselves, um, try something new, get out of their comfort zone. I really respect that, and I try to do that myself and hope to inspire others to do that. So any company that's offering the opportunity to help people get outside more is one that I'm definitely interested in working with.
And so it seems very much, values and values focused, audience focused. Does what network they're on, commission rates, EPCs, any of those, traditional affiliate metrics and things like that, does that come into it? Or if they fit with your audience and your values, you'll work with them regardless? Or do you look at those other kind of more business focused type of things?
I do to a point. I mean, again, it is a business. I do see it as a business, even though I'm trying to inspire others and provide them with something valuable. um, it is still a business, and I do try to make a profit from it, and then I try to include that in my blog to let people know that, hey, this is an affiliate, there are affiliate links in here. You support this, you support me. Um, but yeah, I do to a point, and I try to pick, if I have a company that has a good commission rate, and then I look at their banners and their text links and things like that, and the ones that are performing the best in Commission Junction, then I usually go with those.
Have you ever worked like on any custom uh, sponsorships or placements, or either a blog post sponsorship or the blog sponsorship, anything out of the norm of just a banner, a text link?
I have done uh, one sponsored post so far where someone reached out to me and asked if they could do a sponsored post on my blog. And they were really just asking because they wanted to include a link to their page within the post, which
Hmm.
was, simple for me. It was easy, and they were an outdoor company, they were an adventure company, and that's worked out well for me. So that's the one time I've done a sponsored post so far. I'm open to them. I don't want to do them, every other week or anything. But I am definitely open to that as an opportunity.
What can an advertiser do to make sure you won't work with them? What is annoying, or just like what gets you to delete an email without reading it, or just stop talking to them? What could they avoid for that to happen?
Trying to think if there have been. I've had some that it's, they reach out to me, like they tell me they have this great opportunity for me, and it's something like, high fashion, or it's something that has nothing to do with what my blog is about. And you can tell they obviously haven't even looked at the blog. They're just trying to push their product and they see that I'm a blogger. It's
Yeah.
those products, people reaching out for, lingerie and things. And I'm like, you know what? That's not really what I'm doing here. but but
Yeah,
thanks
people aren't
anyway.
coming there for high fashion and lingerie.
Yeah, not that I know of. I'll check the analytics though and let you know.
That's super funny that we still have to remind each other that alignment and relevancy is so important.
Yeah.
You wasted your time by sending the email. They
Mhm.
wasted your time by making you delete it, and
Mhm.
in the end, you have a lower view of them and their marketing than you did beforehand. So they have probably lost a potential customer in the future as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I if I'm gonna work with another company, I'm gonna do the research to help them. They should do the same. They should look at my blog and they
Hmm.
should do their research before they reach out. I would only expect that I would do that for them, if it was the other way around.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It sounds like some pretty basic some pretty basic things to be nice to each other
Yeah.
and
I
common
try to
sense
do
things.
that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's outstanding. Well, Nicole, I have enjoyed this discussion. I think it's very helpful for advertisers to hear from a content producer, a niche affiliate, a blogger on the do's and don'ts, kind of what you're doing right now, and how to work with you. And I've really appreciated this conversation. I'm excited to watch your next big trip. And you actually have a lot of blog posts of places I've been. Like you're in Jersey, I think, right now, and I'm from
Mhm.
Pennsylvania. You have a Wildwood
Mhm.
blog post. I've spent many weeks in my youth there. Um, so this has been great. If people want to check out your blog, they go to wanderingwithadromomaniac.com. If they
Mhm.
want to contact you, how do they follow you and contact you?
I'm on most of the social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And you can email me at Nicole at wanderingwithadromomaniac.com. And I am slowly building my YouTube. Very slowly. I have one video.
Awesome. I didn't know you had video.
Just one. It was my first go. So it's not, well, it's
Oh,
a work in progress.
that's awesome. We release several videos, and I've started to play with it. What do you think? If can ask one more question,
Sure.
what's the vision for the YouTube channel?
I hope to show people some of these hikes, and I'm a snowboarder as well. So my first video is
Right
actually
on.
snowboarding, and I have a few more videos for like Utah and places like that. So I'm hoping to show people these places, the trails, and so they know what to expect, and kind of follow my journey as well in another way other than just the blog. So I'm hoping it evolves to that. But I just started it, so it's not even close yet.
That's awesome. Well, when if you get a hankering to get out of here, my wife and I'd love to take you skiing around Idaho. We got some
Ooh.
great mountains. We got like 4 or 5 great mountains for snowboarding and skiing within 45 minutes. There's some killer
Mm.
trails. So definitely, if you want to get out over here, let us know. We'd love to give you some opportunities to create really good content and showcase our area. But I'll include those links and things in our show notes.
Mhm.
And then if you're listening and are interested to talk to Nicole, please check it out. Check out wanderingwithadromomaniac.com. I've really enjoyed your blog posts and enjoyed this time together. Thank you so much, Nicole. And yeah, good luck with your YouTube channel. Good luck with is it the highest mountain in Europe?
Mhm. Yep.
Awesome. That will be fun to watch. So thank you again, Nicole, for spending time with me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, that was great. Thank you, Nicole, for joining me on this podcast episode. So I want to recap a couple things that I heard that if you're an advertiser, I want to make sure that you hear. So in order to work well with her, and I would say a lot of content affiliates, you got to understand what your value is to them and what their value is to their audience. That alignment of value is becoming more and more important these days. So make sure you know who they are. Nicole talked about getting a lot of outreaches from people who have no business working with them, and that wandering with a Dromomaniac would never work with, and how it's a waste of time. So I want you to remember, as you're looking to reach out and work with a broader range of affiliates, you want to look at alignment. When you send something that, and you're a brand and you don't really align with a specific affiliate, that partnership isn't going to happen. It's not going to be fruitful, and it's going to end up souring the view of the brand, and it's going to end up wasting a lot of time. So don't waste your time. When you want to work with a blogger, a travel blogger, a content affiliate, you got to do your homework. Good results can definitely happen. We're seeing that a lot with our clients, especially in the travel space. And it works when you do your research. I loved how Nicole was sharing the emails of, we got this great opportunity. And then when she clicks through, it's for something completely inappropriate. It's incredibly clear that they've done no research. And we've all received those emails, right? We've all received those LinkedIn outreaches and looked at it and gone, you have not looked at what I do or who I am at all. So if content affiliates, bloggers, travel bloggers are important to your growth strategy in 2020 and 2021 and on, then know that you got to do your research with these groups of affiliates. Make sure that it makes sense to reach out to them. Do your homework beforehand. That's going to establish a foundation for a strong relationship going forward. So Nicole, thank you so much for sharing all of your insights and how to work with her. So definitely check out wanderingwithadromomaniac.com. And I am looking forward to seeing her adventures going forward, especially when travel opens up. Now, if you're an advertiser and you're looking for help with your affiliate program, you really just need to know, what am I supposed to do? And do I stand up to benchmarking? And am I positioned for growth? We have a service that we call the Strategy Roadmap. You can go to JEBCommerce.com/strategy. And in this service, we evaluate every aspect of your affiliate program and give you a strategy that's going to lead to success now and in the future. We look at your affiliates, your affiliate distribution. We introduce you to top performers in your space. We evaluate your network, the setup, your commission structure. We compare it against your competitors. We do all these things for you, and you can go to JEBCommerce.com/strategy to get more information and to hear from us. Now, if you need help with your affiliate program in general, and you just want to spend 15 minutes with an expert, you can spend time with me. Just go to calendly.com/Jamie Birch. You can set up 15 minutes to a half hour to an hour, and we're going to spend time together, all for free. Just going to help you identify your obstacles and really with whatever you need. You can also email us at gethelp@jebcommerce.com. Now, if you found this episode and this podcast valuable, please go over to Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or wherever you listen to your podcast and give us a review, give us a rating, share it on Facebook and Twitter, and share it with a friend. And if you want to be a guest on the show, I'd love to have you. You can just email me at gethelp@jebcommerce.com.